just finished a 5-mile run, and it really made me think, like, knowing the finish line, seeing the end point, seeing the end result before you get there makes doing the hard shit that much easier, like that much of a difference. And you know, I just ran 5 miles. I'm not a runner, I'm a fucking bodybuilder, but I do this shit for my mental. And when I eat too much, I'll just go for a run. But during this whole run, like, my heart rate was at 180 beats per minute. Like, that shit was thumping, and I was cramping up in every single part of my body. And I haven't ran this exact loop or this exact track in so long, so I kind of forgot where I was at. And at this point, that's when my brain wanted to give up. That's when my brain wanted to quit. That's when my brain in question saying, hey, is this even worth it? Am I going to make it to the end? And I'm running and I'm pushing and I can't even breathe, but I know that the version of myself that wins in every single aspect, not just one aspect. He will finish this last mile, because this last mile will carry to anything else in my life. So I'm running here, and while I'm running and getting to the end, it's like, I don't know the finish line. I don't know where I'm at. I just know that as long as I push forward, as long as I move that next step, I know I'm going to get closer. I know at every single step I take, every single inch, I am moving forward. I am just at least this much closer to getting closer to the finish line. And I'm starting to think as I finished it and I made it to the end, you start to get closer, right? You get closer to your goal. You start to almost, it's like when you're on a boat and you're stranded in the middle of the ocean and you start to see the island. That's like that glimmer of hope. So I see the end. I'm like, oh shit, I remember this part. And what happens when I see the end is I start full out sprinting, and I start to realize, like, my mind truly can give out way before my body does. So at this point, I realize that my body can go probably 10 more miles. My mind can go as far as I let it go to. I started sprinting this last little bit, and as I got closer, the hope expanded, and then I finally got there. And what I can say is, like, this goes to every single aspect of life. When you're working on a business, when you're trying to cut and you're trying to get those abs, you're going to walk, you're going to get closer, you're going to take those extra steps. You're not going to know where that finish line is exactly. But by moving forward and getting closer regardless, you know that one day you're going to see the island. You know that one day you're going to see the end point, and you can sprint and you can grab it and you can achieve it. So, like, that just shows, like, you don't always need to know when you're going to get there, but by being familiar with what you're doing, it makes it easier. And this is exactly what I did in my life. It's like, when I have a weight loss tracker, when I have something that's going to track me to know exactly what I'm going to weigh when, track every single macro to the T, track everything, I know that for a fact, I am going to weigh this weight at this time. This gives me a sense of familiarity with the path I'm on. It makes me start to see the end point. Therefore, the motivation, you could say, comes to life. And it makes so much sense. It's like, if you guys are ever on a path, I know how fucking hard life is right now. I know how rough life is. I know how tough it is to push through some shit. But all you need to gain control of your life is to control that one step closer towards the invisible, mysterious end. You don't need to 100% see the end and know how many steps it's going to take you. You just need to get closer. You just need to walk. You just need to literally take that extra step, because what happens is that one step turns into 50 steps. That 50 steps turns into 1,000 steps. That 1,000 steps turns into 10,000 steps. Then you're running a marathon. You're already at your goal. You're already there, because you know that no matter what happens, you're going to control what you can control. Your girl could break up with you. You could lose everything. Your house, your wife. You could lose everything. You could lose yourself, but you're not going to give up. You're not going to stop moving. And that's why I run. That's why I do these things that don't even benefit any aspect of what I'm doing exactly. My best cardio would be just walking on the treadmill. But no, I'm going to go for a run. I'm going to exert myself to a level to where I am faced with that uncomfort. I am faced with that unknowingness, that feeling of not knowing the finish line, but continuing to push. Because even though I didn't see the end, I knew that by me taking that extra step, I would get there eventually. You know, when I had derealization, and my biggest fear was that I'd never get out of it. Like, I would spend every single second of the day just thinking about how shitty my life was. But I knew that if I took every single day, one day at a time, just trying to work on a different aspect of my life, my nervous system would eventually neutralize and be comfortable with life, and it wouldn't be so, untrusting to me, putting me in derealization, disassociating me from reality, right? It's a symptom of anxiety I was dealing with. Very, very difficult life. I'm telling you, I was gifted so many physically good things, a nice house, food at the dinner table, all those things you could ask for, a good childhood, but internally, I was gone because of these symptoms. I accepted they were my fault, right? Smoking weed, I was doing all these things, but I realized no one else can save me, and only I could save myself in this moment, and the only thing I could do was to walk. The only thing I could do was to take that step. The only thing I could do was to take a couple steps forward, not knowing the finish line, but continuing to persevere, continuing to walk when everything is telling me not to, when I have 8 cramps in my body, when my mind's shutting off, when I want to fucking explode and quit everything. I'm going to walk because I'm going to see how far I can go. What's the other alternative? To stay there with a fucking broken brain, feeling like I'm just never going to come back to reality, feeling like I'm behind a glass wall, feeling like I'm disconnected from my family, friends. Fuck that. No, I'm going to push forward, and I'm going to see how far I could go. I'm going to see where my mind can take me, because everything in this physical life is all an external representation of your internal state. And if you can learn to really control the perception of your reality, I am telling you right now, you can control your life, and you have permission to be fucking successful in this life. You have permission. You have permission. You just need to walk. You could have that path. You could have that intention. I'm telling you right now, your intention is God's intention. If you have that vision, if you have that goal, that is God asking you to walk. That is God saying, hey, you need to walk forward, but I can't give you this goal for you, but you need to take the steps, and I can help guide you the correct path. I can help open up the windows that you need to walk through. And when you can start to walk through different windows, you can start to see new opportunities come to you. Realize that every purpose leads you to your next purpose, which ultimately will lead you to your true life purpose. But it will never happen if you don't walk. So even though you don't see the end, even though you don't see the finish line, even though you're not there yet, the only way you're going to get close, the only way you're going to start to be familiar with the path you're on, the only way you're going to start to recognize the circle you're running around, the path you're running around, whatever you're on, the water you're on to see the island, whatever you want to use as an example of this, you're never going to notice familiarity with the hard work unless you walk. So if you are watching this video, if you made it this far, that means you're called to take action on whatever popped up in your head, whatever you want to take action on, you getting in shape, you finally making that change within your life. This is your chance. This is your opportunity to walk. Let's go, boys. Summer's coming. I encourage all of you guys to follow my Instagram, the link in the bio. You can just see every single thing I do every single day. Unlimited advice, tips, and all that shit. And just connect with me on there, etc. But appreciate you boys for watching. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.